call to order the Plan Commission meeting for Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. Roll call, please.
Mayor Kodowski.
Here.
Gary Paul.
Here.
Chris Atkinson.
Here.
Jake Krieger.
Here.
Mike Skippington.
Here.
Corey Campbell. Here. Jim Allen.
Present.
Please stand for the pledge. And please remember our men and women in uniform throughout the world. I have no changes to the agenda. I need a motion to approve, please.
Move to approve. Second.
Motion and a second to approve as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion carried. Number 5, action on the minutes from the June 4th, 2024 Plan Commission.
Move to approve.
There's no corrections or additions.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve those minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion carried. Number 6, comments from the public. Must be limited to items not on the agenda. Must state your name and address. You're limited to 5 minutes. The board's role is to listen and not discuss the item. Personnel issues cannot be discussed nor individuals named, and the board is not able to take action at this meeting. Is there anybody out in the audience or online that would like to comment on something not on tonight's agenda? Seeing that we have nobody here that's not on tonight's agenda, we'll move on. 7, action items. 7A, consider, discuss, act on a 2-lot certified survey map, CSM, request by Schutt Properties LLC at 2232, 2234 Prairie Street, parcel VA-697-5. Aaron.
All right, thank you. I will share my screen and bring the CSM up. All right. The requested certified survey map is to split an existing duplex lot down the common wall between the 2 units, creating a 0 lot line attached unit. This is a pretty common occurrence within this neighborhood. We've had a number of these splits come through probably over the past, I'd say, 10 years or so. The proposed CSM does meet the required or existing setbacks, and the only recommended condition of approval includes approval by the Brown County Planning Commission. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Aaron, weren't all those lots a 0 lot line on those duplexes on Prairie Street?
Not all of them. So to create the 0 lot line, they have to go through this certified survey map. So this was one of the remaining still lots that was still just a duplex. So they're just taking that existing duplex lot and splitting it into a 0 lot line.
Okay, I know what they're doing there, but I just assumed they were all there. Okay, there's no questions on it, move to approve.
I'll second it for you.
Just the only question, anything that's driving it? What's the reason?
Typically, it's the market. What they're seeing is that there's such a demand for home ownership.
So they're going to split so they can sell both sides?
Correct, exactly.
Okay, very good.
Okay, any other questions, concerns? I don't have any question. I mean, I've seen this many times before, so. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Seconded. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve the certified survey map for 2232 and 2234 Prairie Street. Any other comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. Motion carried. Number 7B, consider, discuss, act on a request to vacate Business Center Court. Aaron.
All right, thank you again. I will share my screen and show the proposed vacation or discontinuance, as it's technically called.
You do look pretty good, though.
Yeah, thanks, appreciate that. Hit the wrong button. That's why I was taking a look up there to make sure I got the right one. There we go. The street vacation or discontinuance, as it's technically called, is for a platted but never developed street off of Packerland Drive, as indicated in the red hatched area. Business Center Court was created, again, it was platted to provide access to those 3 vacant lots that were at the time owned by the Ashwaubenon Community Development Authority. The CDA, as are also known, did enter into an agreement with Multi-Pond America to sell those parcels of land along with Business Center Court for their new corporate headquarters to be located on Packerland Drive. As part of the development agreement with the village, we did agree to go through the process to formally vacate Business Center Court. And as part of that process, under the statutes, the Planning Commission is provided with an opportunity to provide comment on the proposed discontinuance. So do you have any comments, questions, concerns about the proposed vacation or basically elimination of this platted but not developed street? I'd be happy to hear them.
I don't have any problems with this. I know that that was created, like you said, many years ago to give the opportunity to have access to all 3 lots. So,
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the request to vacate Business Center Court. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. 7C, consider, discuss, act on a rezoning request for parcel VA-103-A at the northeast corner of Holmgren Way and Cormier Road from B3 Community Business to VC Village Center. Aaron?
Thank you. Bring up the site again. All right, as indicated, the requested rezoning is from B3 Community Business to VC Village Center zoning district. The proposed rezoning is located on the northeast corner of the Holmgren Way Cormier Road intersection, site of the former Green Bay Packaging building that was demolished a year or 2 ago now. The proposed rezoning is to facilitate the redevelopment of the site into a mixed-use first floor commercial common space with upper floor residential multifamily development. In terms of the rezoning request, as indicated on the map, you do see there is existing VC Village Center zoned properties to the immediate west on Holmgren Way, along with P, public use for the stadium, and then B3 to the east, south, and southwest. When reviewing a requested rezoning, we do need to take a look at it and compare it to the village's comprehensive plan to determine whether or not, and again, this gets a little bit into the weeds, but whether the proposed rezoning is not inconsistent with the comprehensive plan. I know it's a double negative, but that's technically the language the courts have used to determine whether or not a proposed rezoning action is consistent with the comprehensive plan, is to make sure that it is not inconsistent. So again, a little bit in the weeds there, but that's the technical terminology and process we use. In reviewing the comprehensive plan, again, that was back in 2016 when it was adopted. We are in the process of updating that currently. The village is broken up into different neighborhoods, districts, and corridors based on similar characteristics. In this case, the site of the requested rezoning is located within the Village Center District, as indicated on page 81 of the comprehensive plan. Just to paraphrase, the Village Center area is intended to, over time, position to become a vibrant multi-story walkable district with a mix of uses including multifamily, residential, entertainment, commercial activity, and public places. The comprehensive plan then identifies basically whether uses are allowable, desirable, or undesirable. And it has a matrix that we go through and look at that, which was included in the packet. In the matrix for the Village Center area, which this area covers, mixed-use commercial residential is considered to be a desirable use. So the comprehensive plan looks at the proposed use that is at this point, looking at the site as a desirable use for this property. Now, certainly, there is still broad discretion when it comes to a rezoning action at the village board level. So in terms of the proposed rezoning, staff does recommend approval of the rezoning. This would then be forwarded to the village board with a public hearing for final action. If you have any questions regarding the rezoning, again, specific to the rezoning, not the site plan yet, site plan is a future agenda item. Just the rezoning at this time. If you have questions on the rezoning, the developer is in the audience, so is available for questions if you have them.
I believe this is a good plan here. I'm normally the first one to say I'm against rezoning when it comes to certain items, but this one fits the comprehensive plan back in 16, like Aaron said. The project coming forward is a neat project for the village. It's something that I think fits the neighborhood quite well, so that's my 2 cents worth.
And I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the rezoning of parcel VA-103-A from B3 Community Business to VC Village Center. Any other discussion, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. 7D, consider, discuss, act on a site plan review request by Cormier Property Partners LLC for parcel VA-103-A at the northeast corner of Holmgren Way and Cormier Road for a mixed-use development. Aaron.
Thank you. So moving on again to the actual site plan as proposed for this property. Because it is proposed to be within the VC Village Center zoning district, it does require review and approval of a site plan by the Site Plan Review Committee, Plan Commission, and the Village Board to round it out. As discussed, the proposed development on the property, it is currently vacant, so this will be a redevelopment project. As you see here, the site plan, it's meant to accomplish a few different goals. Goal number 1 is to provide additional housing in the community. Goal number 2 really is to provide additional surface parking for both Capital Credit Union Park Stadium and Epic Event Center, with a focus really on the stadium. So to accomplish that, what you see on the site plan is that there is a wide walkway around the exterior of the parking lot, connecting the entire parking lot to the stadium area, along with a stormwater pond that you see here on the, we'll call it the eastern portion of the lot. Extensive landscaping, landscape islands as required under our code, a center green space for residents to utilize for whether they're grilling out, whatever it might be. In terms of the elevations, I'll go to a rendering. The exterior materials are consistent with our site plan design review requirements. It's a mixture of masonry, wood look wall panels, and then also, of course, storefront type glass that you see there for the commercial uses on the first floor. Number of balconies for the 152 apartment units, so in total. As you can see on the lower image, the building fronting on Holmgren Way is to be broken up, we'll call it into 2 different, we'll call them towers, with a center common space for residents. Again, total of 152 units between the 2 towers, as well as in commercial and common space for office, apartment office type use, gym, fitness, lobby type uses as well. Total parking on the site does include 43 commercial spaces, 230 residential stalls, which includes 84 indoor spaces, and 295 spaces for events at the stadium and Epic Event Center. Separately, we are discussing as a staff ways to make sure people can safely cross both Cormier Road and Holmgren Way. So we're looking at setting up another crosswalk with a center refuge island on Cormier Way to make sure folks can cross safely between this parking area and Epic and vice versa. As noted, the property is to be rezoned from VC Village Center, or to VC Village Center, which is in the process. We do have excess, or a number of bicycle parking. We have 6 different locations on the southern and western elevations of the building. In terms of recommended conditions of approval, there are a few. I'll just read those for the record. As the building is greater than 50 feet tall and within Airport Zoning District C, the applicant must obtain an application for a height permit from the Green Bay Austin Straubel Airport Director. Approval of a rezoning from B3 Community Business to VC Village Center. Use of fully concealed fasteners for metal wall panels and cladding. All metal wall panels, cladding are to include a minimum 3-foot masonry wainscot from finished grade. Screen any new rooftop or ground-mounted mechanical units visible from the property boundaries or public right-of-way. Meet all applicable requirements of the Ashwaubenon site plan review and all other applicable village ordinances. I should mention the top of the top floor is at 58 feet, so it does fall underneath the 60-foot maximum for this area of the village. From engineering, submit civil plans to the village engineer for review and approval. He did note, utilize the existing laterals as much as possible to prevent digging up both Holmgren Way and Cormier Road. And then review the February emails and verify the schedule for road restoration with the NFL draft coming up. We want to make sure we don't have either road tore up during that time period. Stormwater, submit a stormwater management plan to the village engineer for review and approval. Install and maintain erosion control measures throughout the development process. From public safety, coordinate with public safety regarding placement of FDC locations and Knox box. We did have an extensive conversation with public safety. They reviewed the site, and sometimes there's a need for a private hydrant on larger sites such as this. With the locations of the public hydrants where they are, there's no need for any additional private hydrants on this site. From forestry, submit a detailed landscape plan with planting schedule to be reviewed and approved by the village forester, and actually that was included in the packet. I just missed that when I did my review. From Bike and Ped, I did have some no recommended conditions of approval, but a couple recommendations that came through from Bike and Ped, one of which was to bicycle parking should meet the standards of the Association of Pedestrian and Bicycle Professionals. And then from zoning administration building inspection, again, these are recommendations, so they're not something in our code that can be required, but it's best practice. Should the developer say, yeah, that makes sense, we should really do that. This other one is to install a decorative fence along the western and southern sides outside of the vision triangle of the stormwater pond. There's that path going along there, it made sense to have some sort of fencing or some sort of barrier, make sure folks don't trip and fall into the pond. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, the development team is also in the audience. If you have any specific questions for them.
Aaron, is the decorative fence a recommendation or a must?
That is a recommendation. We do not have a code requirement for that. It's a best practice and a recommendation to the developer to take that into account.
Yeah, with the traffic in there, I think that's a good idea for fencing on that particular pond. Okay, that's all I've got. We ran it through site plan this afternoon. Nice project. Anything that goes through Aaron and his staff's plans, is to code, so there's no questions there.
You just curiosity, start and finish dates?
I'll defer to the developer on that one. So I guess, Derek, if you wouldn't mind coming up. Sure. Just state your name and address and then speak into the microphone.
Derek Liebhauser, 3027 Ridgeway Drive, Neenah. Our current timeline showing is a start date October, November of this year. It's going to be constructed in 2 phases with the 2, if we call it tower construction, with the first phase being the construction on the corner of Cormier and Holmgren, and the second phase of the one to the northeast of that. If we start in October, November, we expect it to take about 12 months for construction on the first phase and 12 months construction on the second phase. And the goal is to overlap those 2 by 3 to 6 months. So total construction time somewhere between 18 and 21 months.
When are you thinking the parking lot is going to be done? Not that there's an NFL draft 2 blocks down the road.
Right. the goal would be to have as much of that done as possible to try to accommodate that. I think there's still some due diligence to do on our end as far as the site work, the utilities, and everything that goes along with phasing it all the most efficient way. But we'll definitely take it into consideration to have as much done as we can to deal with the traffic of the draft and obviously extensive parking needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a revenue opportunity.
Yeah, it is, and we're very aware of it, and we're trying to get as much done as we can. The ownership group as well, we want to make sure that we get as much parking for next year for the baseball stadium as well.
It is needed.
Absolutely.
Is there any concern with traffic once the game gets out, kind of coming out of here? You know, you have 300 cars, 295. All of a sudden heading out onto Cormier, and did public safety have any concerns about anything there, Aaron?
Yeah, they didn't have any concerns at all. What we found is that to the games, it's not like a Packer game where you have a overtime and there's a big flush of traffic.
Yeah.
People tend to actually trickle out of the stadium as it gets to the 7th, 8th, 9th inning.
Agreed.
So it's more of a general flow as opposed to kind of those big flushes.
Yeah, okay.
It's a great project. Definitely well needed and fits the site very well. So that being said, I will make a motion to approve with staff conditions.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve with staff conditions. Any further discussion? Any comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Like I said at site plan, great, beautiful project.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Looking forward to this one.
We
Yeah.
appreciate it. We are too. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, good luck.
Okay, 7E, presentation and discussion on draft Ashwaubenon Comprehensive Plan, Chapter 5, Housing. Aaron?
Well, I know it says presentation, but I'll be honest, I didn't get a chance to get the presentation together. That said, this is probably one of the smaller chapters of the comprehensive plan. I trust you had a chance to read through it. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I certainly can give a presentation on it at our next planning commission meeting if you'd like. I'm not sure if it's necessary, though. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Aaron, you did a great job again. I mean, I went through it. I didn't fall asleep this time as much as the last one.
It's a little shorter.
Yeah. But plus, the interest level was maybe a little higher on this one, too. It is interesting to see some of the statistics and some of the information, so very much appreciate all the work and all the effort that goes into gathering that, because those are things that top of mind. I know, the village board appreciates knowing those things because they impact a lot of different decisions that are being made. So I thought you did a great job. I didn't really have any other questions on it whatsoever.
So what we'll do is, next meeting, I will bring forth the economic development chapter. That one, I think, is gonna go a little bit more in-depth. So within that chapter, we do identify certain economic opportunity areas within the village with specific recommendations for those areas. So I think that'll be one. I'll make sure to have the presentation ready for that one.
You've been very busy, Aaron.
It's all good.
Okay, any other questions or comments on that housing? Okay, number 8, items for next agenda. I'm sure we'll have items.
Yes, we will.
Okay. So we need to move the date of the next plan board meeting because it falls on National Night Out.
That's right.
And we can't move it to the following Tuesday because that is election day. So can we do Wednesday, the 7th? Does that, and if there's not availability, we'll have to throw out other dates.
Your recommendation is what date?
Wednesday, the 7th of August.
It'll work.
I'm good.
Could be.
It would work for me.
I'm good.
After 7th.
Interferes with my drift-in time.
We'll go fast, Jim. Does August 7th work for everybody at 5:30?
Yes.
Okay, we'll do it, we'll change it to that. And then I just wanted to mention that this is our last plan board meeting with Terry Lewis. I'm very sad.
Wow.
She is retiring after 44 years,
Oh, my gosh.
Oh,
so,
young kid down there is retiring at 44 years of employment here. I can't figure that out.
yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you, Terry, for all the years that you have done what you've done,
Thank you, Terry.
so. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Oh, God, no.
This